everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the National Self-Storage Investment Club, the nation's leader for self-storage investments and opportunities to connect and network, raise capital. We're on our second month, guys. Second month, number 2. All right, 2-month anniversary, and we are moving. We're up to 80 members and growing. We have our self-storage portal with our educational platform that we just launched, which again, it's amazing. At some point, I'll have to do maybe like an hour-long session on just the educational portion because it's really amazing what we built there. So today we had Alana Ross that was scheduled to be on the call to talk about her self-storage auction platform. Unfortunately, her husband had to go into heart surgery this morning for some health issues that he's having. So she could not make it on the call, but I'm going to give you guys a demo of her website and her software as a user because it's something that myself and my wife use on the storages that we manage. So I'll give you guys a demo, and then afterwards I'll provide you with her contact information and with information for their company in case you guys want to sign up for their services. And at some point in the future, when everything calms down with her husband, I'll have her come back here onto the platform and introduce herself in person. But let me share my screen. You guys can see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. So for those of you guys that are in storage, or maybe you guys already know that, hey, auctions it's just a part of the business. And no matter where you own storage, whether it's in a low-income area, middle-class area, even if you're in the high-end area, if you're in Calabasas somewhere, you're always going to have 1 or 2 units every single month that fall behind, fall delinquent, and then you have to figure out what it is that you're going to do with this stuff. Now, sometimes if you're like me, sometimes what you do is you'll fall into a certain trap where you might try to, the person gives you a sob story and you try to sympathize with them and you just let them stay in the unit delinquent for longer than they should be. They're in there like 5 or 6 months. Other times, there's times where, okay, I fear doing an auction because I know that, man, if I auction off these 5 or 10 units, that's going to make my occupancy look bad. So, in order for me to keep my occupancy up, sometimes I'll let people slide and I'll allow them to stay in units a lot longer than I actually should. And then other times I might get a little bit greedy and think, wow, this person owes me, especially if it's a new site that I just bought. So if I buy a new site and I see that there is, call it $10,000 in accounts receivable from these delinquent units, I sometimes fall into that trap of thinking, man, if I can collect on at least half of this stuff, that'll make my numbers look good. But at some point, you want to get rid of these delinquent units so that you can make at least a little bit of money from them, but not just making the money. It's also having these units available for someone else to rent. So a big question I get asked from people, students or clients who manage property or who are looking to buy storages and run them remotely is, well, how do I handle auctions? People, you guys may have seen the auction website, the auction shows, Storage Wars, and what people think of when they think of a storage auction is this in-person event where you have 5 or 6 people that are just bidding on the unit, and that's the way it was done when I first got into the industry back in 2007, when things were not as technological advanced. But now, the majority of operators, even the institutions and the REITs, they just use these online auction services. And one of the biggest ones is this one, storageauctions.com. Now, And again, guys, as I'm talking, if you guys have a question, you guys could put it in the chat or just blurt it out. It's not a problem if you guys have any questions on this. But storageauctions.com. And the way this works is this is sort of like eBay for storage auctions, where a storage operator like myself, we can just get pictures from of the unit, put them onto the site, and then people across the nation can register and log into this site, and they can bid on storage units. And you have a certain time frame that you allow for bidding. I usually do like 7 to 10 days, so that way you have enough time for people to see the content, see the items that are in the units, and you also want to have more people bidding, because the more bidders that you have, the higher you're going to drive up the price. And then whoever is the winning bidder, then they're the ones that win the auction. Storageauctions.com, they get a fee from the winning bidder. So let's say if this person right here that's at $350, if they win this auction, then storageauctions.com, they take 10%. So they would take $35 from this $350, and then that remaining balance is what is paid to you as the operator. Any questions on that? And as far as their reach, this is nationwide. So this is not just specific to, say, California or a certain state. This is bringing up stuff in California because that's where it's picking up my location. But if you go in here and you type in, I think Cassandra, you said you're in Tennessee. If you go in here and type in, find auctions in Tennessee, now this will pull up a list of all the auctions that are posted to this website that are in the state of Tennessee. Or if some of the buyers wanted to search within a radius, right? They can put in an address and search within 2,500, 250-mile radius. So now I'm gonna log into my platform and just show you guys kind of the back end of it, how it looks in terms of a user or a storage seller putting their unit here on this site. So I'm here on the site. This is the dashboard. This is what it looks like after you log in. And what you can do is you can go and see other facilities that have stuff for sale. You can click here and see live auctions that you have going on. So this is an auction that I have ending today. It's at one of our sites in Mississippi, and we currently have 4 bids on it, 232 views. Current bid amount is $50, and we have 2 hours left on this. Now, if I'm gonna go and put in a new site, like let's just say I have some, I have a unit that is delinquent and I want to put it up for auction. First thing that I would do is I would have whoever my boots on the ground manager is, I'd have them get me some decent, good quality pictures, right? And you want to have pictures of like a front view of the unit to where you're on the outside looking in. You want to have some views of, actually have your boots in the ground person get inside the unit if they can and take pictures of, what's behind the stuff that you just see in the front. So, we got furniture, we got chairs, we got TVs in there, ice box. Like this unit went for a couple $100 because it had a lot of good stuff. Bar stools. The more pictures that you take, especially pictures of some of these high-end items, if you see a TV, you see electronics, you see appliances, you see furniture that's wrapped up, those are some items that really command a lot of attention. So those are some that you want to take some pictures of and really, really hone in on. And then another thing that's good to do, which we do at our sites, is I have my boots on the ground person not just take pictures, but also give me an inventory as much as they can of what's inside of here. So, hey, there's two TVs. There's a table. There's some old records. There's a refrigerator. And the reason why you want to do that is the more not only with pictures, but also the more descriptive you can be with the contents inside of the unit, the more people that you're going to get bidding on the unit. So, for example, like with this one that we have in Mississippi, I have my boots in the ground, give me an inventory. There's antique furniture, chairs, barbecue pit, bar stool, speakers, etc. You want to be really detailed with it. And even if you have a quantity, such as if they can count, hey, I counted two bar stools or two refrigerators, just put all that information in here, because sometimes there's stuff in here that's valuable that may not show up in the pictures, and you want to have a good description so that way you can get the highest dollar amount possible for that unit. Any questions so far? All right, so if I'm going to start a new auction, again, first thing you want to do, get the photos, get the description from your boots on the ground manager. The next thing you want to do is come here and click Add New Auction Event. You got your start time and your end time. Now, typically, again, I like to do just 10 days, because 10 days it's not too long to where it's dragging the auction out, and it's not too short to where you don't have enough people looking at the auction. So I'll do from today, and then I'll have this in, you know, have it end on what is that? May the 8th. And then you can also choose the time as well. So, choosing you want to choose the right time to end, because what you don't want to do is have the auction in the middle of the night when people are sleeping. You want to have this auction in prime hours, when people are on on the website or on social media looking and able to bid. So ending the auction between the hours of like 4 to 7 is pretty good, because you got people getting off work, and you also have folks that are out of school and not being distracted by something else, to where they can just be on this website and they can they can bid on items. And then once you select the end time, you then want to select whatever location that it's going to be at. I'll do this one, still our location at Stillman. And then right here on this drop down, you can select a manager that the folks contact to make their payment and to arrange a pickup. So this could either be you, if you want to handle it remotely and you want to have them call you as the owner, make the payment, and then you give them access to the unit. You can do it that way. Or if you have a local manager or boots on the ground that's assigned to this to whatever site that you have, you can insert their information on there, and then that boots on the ground person can be responsible for collecting payment information and then providing access to the unit. You could choose your time zone as well. So if you're in, it's best to choose the time zone that the storage is located in, as opposed to, because I've done it before where I've chosen the time zone as Pacific Standard Time because I'm in California, but the unit is in Louisiana or Mississippi, which is on Central, and then people get confused because they think, "Hey, why hasn't this auction ended? It says it ends at 12 o'clock." Well, that's because I put 12 o'clock Pacific, so your time it actually ends at 2. So make sure you use the time zone in which the unit is located. And then ending offset, this is just, how long, if you have somebody that bids at the last minute, within 3 minutes, this will then put time back on the clock to give other people the opportunity to bid on units. And then with this sales tax, if you're in a state that charges sales tax, you can add sales tax. Or if you want to be smart, uh, something that something that you could do is, since the auction company charges 10%, you can basically pass that 10% on to the customer by having it as a 10% sales tax. And then right here on the auction instructions, this just tells the customer, hey, look, you got 72 hours to clean up. We don't have a dumpster because you will have some people that win an auction and they go through the unit. They may only want to take the good items and then take some of the trash and put it into your dumpster. So you want to make sure that they don't do that and that they have to take everything out of that unit by letting them know that there are no dumpster privileges. And you also want to charge a $100 cleaning deposit just to ensure that they take everything out of that unit. And I had a few auctions earlier on where I didn't charge a deposit, and it turned out to bite me in the butt, because after after they went to the unit, there's always a certain amount of trash and junk that the auction winner doesn't want in that unit. So charging them a $100 cleaning deposit and then giving them back that cleaning deposit once they show you proof that send you pictures or email you pictures that the unit is vacant and that it's cleared out, then that's when you return that $100 deposit. That's just the way I started doing it, because had a couple of instances where we got burned, and then now they leave you with this trash, and then you have to pay a junk hauler 50 or $100 to now come and haul this junk. Any questions? So then from there, you just go through and you just put in put in the information. So unit, let's call this is unit 110. Put in your unit size, unit type. So is it a climate control unit? Is it a non-climate control unit? Manager buildup. So with this manager buildup is sometimes we'll have situations where instead of auctioning just one single unit, we'll combine items from multiple small units into a larger unit and auction it that way to create, a larger auction and get more money for it. So that's the manager buildup. Or also private seller. This private seller, this is where, you as an individual, if you wanted to, you can actually sell items from your storage or from, I mean, you can even put stuff from your house onto this website and auction it, just as you're auctioning a storage unit. But I'll go through here, put non-climate control, unit description. I'll just, again, this right here is where you put in that detailed information that you get from your local manager or boots on the ground, as far as, what are the contents inside the unit. So I'll put antique furniture, clothes, etc., etc. Just, again, as much as you could put in there, do it, because that's only going to help you in terms of having people bid up the price. And then with these tags, you want to put tags onto the unit of the type of items and the contents that are inside the unit, because there's some people that go to the website and they search for specific items. Like there's certain folks who are antique dealers that only want to buy units that have antiques, or people that are looking for electronics, or if they're looking for some type of appliances or tools. You can go through here on these tags and use as many tags as possible, so that way you have folks that are that way your unit is showing up as folks are searching on the website for certain items. And then here is where you put in the information just about the tenant. And this right here is private, so this is not visible to the public. This is more so for you and also for the auction company. Uh, Oh no, that's not it. Hattiesburg. That's my tenant's address. Put in your state. And with this, the auction company is going to require you to put this in. So you will have to put in something, either information for the tenant, or if you're doing an auction just of a manager buildup, then just put in information here for your manager. And then right here is where you can put in, anything about the past due rent. So let's say the rent's past due on this is $502. Late fees are another $50. Auction fee 30. And then from here, you can save and then add your photos. So go right here to where it says upload images, and you can either browse and upload them from your computer, or I just do it the easy way, and I'll just have a folder with all the photos, and then I'll just drag and drop them in. And then done uploading. And then now that I have all that, I can either add another unit. So if you have multiple units that you're auctioning, you can add another unit, or you could click save and launch. And once you click save and launch, the listing is now going to be live. It's going to be on the website, and people can start bidding. Or if you just wanted to save the event, you can save it and come back to it at a later time if you needed to get some additional pictures or some additional information about the auction. Now, right here, when it comes to the images, I always try to set the default image as the image that has the most that shows the unit the best. So I'll choose a unit from I'll choose an image that's showing the unit from the outside looking in, that has a large overview of the contents inside. So something it shows that there's art in there or decor or something. You don't want to just choose one single item as your default image, because the default image is going to be the first image that they see when they click onto the auction. And then you can also set to the order of the images, because they show up in kind of like a photo carousel. So you can have this default image first. Then if there's something, usually what I like to do is the big high ticket items, I like to have those show up a little bit sooner in the image carousel than some of the other items. So you have this one that's 2, this one that's 3, this one that's 4. Save it. And then now once I click save and launch, you're going to get this pop-up saying, by launching this event, you're verifying that you have the authority to list the items and have taken the proper legal steps required by your state to list them. So this is something they do for liability purposes. Uh, and this is them. They're not taking responsibility if you illegally or unlawfully repossess someone's units and sold their items onto their site. So you're the one that's going to take all the responsibility for that if you illegally or unlawfully, took some items or didn't go through the proper notifications to notify the tenant of the auction. And then once you click OK and this launches, if for some reason the auction is canceled, whether you cancel it or your tenants come and they pay the balance in full, once you cancel this, they're going to charge you a $20 cancellation fee. So just keep that in mind. If you're going to do an auction, if you're going to launch it, just know that you are going to get charged a $20 fee if there is a cancellation. And then from there, the auction will be live and it'll be up and running, and folks can come up to the auction and bid. Any questions so far before I get to the next item?
Yeah, I did have one.
Yep.
If after you put it up and list it, the tenant comes back and wants to pay, do you allow him to do that or not?
I do definitely. I mean, because if a tenant wants to come and pay you a couple $100, like that's a lot better. That $100 up front, or it's a what's the word I'm looking for? Bird in the hand is better than a bird in the bush. I'm looking for a word.
What?
Guaranteed.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's better to take that guaranteed money from the tenant if they want to pay you right then and there, as opposed to roll the dice and hopefully you get more for the auction than the tenant owes you, but sometimes you don't.
do you let the owner bid on it?
Yeah, I've never had them bid on it.
You
I,
never
I
have, huh?
I've no,
Okay.
I've never had that situation where the owner bid on it.
Thought they might try to get out of it for a lesser amount.
Yeah, that would be smart, but I've never had that happen. What I have had happen was we've had an auction and there's a couple days left. They came and they paid, like one lady came and she paid like $1,000 for multiple units that she had that we were auctioning, and we had to cancel, but it was worth paying the $20 because we got this tenant that
Yeah,
now paid us $1,000. And if a tenant's going to come and pay that amount of money to get current, they probably are going to, continue to rent from you.
yeah. Okay, great. Thanks.
No problem. So then the next piece of this is taking the payment from the tenant, or not the tenant, from the auction winner. So once you have a situation where they win they get the winning bid, if you're someone who manages remotely like we do, you're not going to be able to have these folks come and bring you cash. So we do it to where we only allow online payments. So it has to be Zelle, it has to be PayPal, or it has to be a credit or a debit card. And the way that we do it when it's a credit or debit card is we just bill them through our management software. So this is one of our facilities in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and we created a dummy account, manager account for auctions, where we specifically use this just to collect payments for auctions. So once we have somebody that wins an auction, let's say this person right here, Charity Taylor. So she paid $97 for the auction, plus $100 for the cleaning deposit. And we can bill them. We can not only bill them through this system, but we can also refund them their $100 cleaning deposit through the system as well. So once we bill them and there's a transaction, we can go here to the transaction details and click refund, and whatever amount that we put in here is what's going to get refunded. And we just click here, credit return to credit card, and then that's going to get refunded to their credit card. And then down here at the reason, we'll just put cleaning deposit. So that way now, we can go back if there's ever a dispute with someone who says, because we've had this happen before where people pay us with a certain card and they don't see that we return their cleaning deposit. They'll come and they'll call and say, hey, where's my cleaning deposit? I cleaned out the unit. I didn't see my deposit return to my card. Now we can go back here into our system and we can see, oh, no, Charity, we did return your cleaning deposit to your card. It was returned to you on April 20th, 2026, onto the MasterCard ending in 5386. So really, really simple process. A lot of folks, some people, they get a little bit nervous or concerned about how they're going to handle auctions remotely when they're in, say, California or they're in Texas and they own the storage out in, a couple thousand miles away. This is the process that you use to handle it. And again, you can either manage this process yourself, or if you have a boots on the ground person that you trust, you can give that boots on the ground person access to your software. Um, like for example, we have boots on the ground folks that have access to the software, and they then can go into this software and they can handle the payments and the refunds of the auctions on our behalf. Anyway, so that's it. You guys, any questions? Jose, Cassandra, Irvin,
No,
Prentice,
seems pretty simple.
what'd you say?
I said it seems pretty simple once you go through it.
It is. It's pretty simple. Again, it's just if you ever sold anything on eBay, it's that exact same process. It's just on the storage auctions website. The one thing that you can't do on their website is you can't bill the winning auction bidder. It's not integrated into your software or into whatever merchant system you're using to accept credit card payments.
Okay.
If there was something to change on their site, I think that would be the one. That'd probably be the one thing that I would tell them to change is, hey, do something to where you can integrate your website with the software, so that way we can just bill people through their website. But anyway, guys, that was it. I just wanted to again, since Alana was not around, I didn't want to cancel the meeting. I still wanted to at least show and record for the group how to manage auctions remotely, because Jose, pretty soon, within probably the next week or two, you'll be holding auctions once you close on the deal in Alabama, because I think you probably got about 10, 15 units that are.
Oh yeah, you definitely see me on that website.
Yeah. And here, let me put the website into the chat for you guys also. I'll put the website into the chat, and I will also put Alana Ross's information in the chat as well. So website is storageauctions.com. And let me find let me pull up Alana's information for you guys. So if you guys want to sign up, you can go to the website directly, or just contact Alana Ross. She helps run the website. So I just put her information into the chat. And she's based out of Arizona. All right, so here I think I just had somebody. No, they haven't won my auction yet. Okay, not yet. All right, cool. Any other questions, guys?
No, not for me.
Okay,
Sounds
cool.
good.
Sounds good. Well, hey, that's all I wanted to show you guys. Appreciate you for hopping on. If any of you want to stay on, if you have any questions about some deals or market conditions, I'll stick around for the next 5 to 10 minutes if any of you guys have any questions. Other than that, thanks for joining. I'll see you guys next Wednesday. So next Wednesday we have Liz Schlesinger of Merritt Hill Capital. She's going to be joining us. I'm going to be doing an interview with her, and she's a big player in self-storage. Her company is the 9th largest storage operator in the nation, with over I think she has over 500 storage facilities and about 20 million square feet under her ownership and management. So yeah, that'll be one that you don't want to miss. Other than that, thank you guys. I'll see you next week.
Thanks.
No problem. Bye.